But that's not all the stuff that's come out. There's more, if you can believe it, because CNN also has their own exclusive, namely photos of Epstein attending Trump's wedding. Yes, everyone's coming out to the forefront with their Epstein leaks now.
You've got to be kidding me. That was President Trump's reaction and response when he spoke with CNN and was asked about these newly uncovered photos and video, offering a new look at his past ties to Jeffrey Epstein. We're going to show you some of them. A photo from 1993 showing Epstein at Trump's wedding to Marla Maples. Epstein's attendance at the wedding has not been widely known until now. Another photo, this
Oh, that's menacing looking, huh?
one from 1993 also shows Trump with his children next to Jeffrey Epstein at a restaurant opening. And CNN's K-File also uncovered this video showing Trump and Epstein in 1999 at a Victoria's Secret fashion show. All of these, given the dates, taken long before Jeffrey Epstein was ever accused of sexual abuse. President Trump has never been.
I'm sure nobody knew before then. I'm sure that when the allegations of Epstein trafficking, having a island, you know, all that, I'm sure that he did it for nobody and nobody knew about it until the law caught up, right? Much like how nobody knew Capone was a gangster until after he got convicted of tax fraud.
Accused of any wrongdoing linked to Jeffrey Epstein. Still, he continues and is taking distract and deflect to a new level. Today, lawmakers are going to be heading home for recess, and that is despite the last-minute push that has been coming from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle to force a release of more information regarding Jeffrey Epstein and the government's investigation. CNN's Lauren Fox is on Capitol Hill. Elena Treen is at the White House. Elena, what is the White House saying about this?
Yeah, well, in relation to this new exclusive reporting from Andrew Kaczynski and M. Steck, you know, we do know that Andrew, and I spoke with him about this, called up President Donald Trump yesterday to walk through some of these photos that they had uncovered. Again, and you mentioned this, a lot of these photos and the footage of both Trump, then, you know, just a civilian, and Jeffrey Epstein were more than a decade before he began to face allegations, Jeffrey Epstein, of sex trafficking and
Right, like how nobody knew Capone was a criminal. Yeah. I know.
The overwhelming majority of Republicans in Congress want to see the administration release the Epstein files. That's what we hear back home from our constituents, and I think that message has been relayed. There may be reasons because of protecting, you know, people in further investigations. I understand why it would be difficult to release it.
Here is a video of Donald Trump reacting to CNN releasing these hitherto secret photos of Epstein, again, to be clear, President Trump's wedding.
The Justice Department seeking an interview with Elaine Maxwell. Did you urge the Attorney General to...
No, I'm sorry. This is him being asked about Ghislaine Maxwell because his entire life is about Epstein now. My apologies. Where's the reaction then? Oh, the reaction's just in text. That's unfortunate. I hate it when they do that. I wish there was like a little blip that they would put, like video unrelated to... Well, that's fine. I can read it out loud. It's an audio video media. You know, I can read it for you guys. I know. I wanted to hear it too. He might get asked about it, though. How frustrating do you think it is for Trump, who, again, from his perspective, this is all dead and buried. Epstein's literally dead, after all, and Trump has already been president, like, for 4 years prior to this. All he wants is accolades and applause for being a very good president boy with very good hair, and reporters keep running up to him asking, like, hey, how do you feel about the 78th new drop of information about your pedophilia today? Asked to respond to the report, Trump told CNN in a phone call, "You've got to be kidding me." The president also repeatedly called the outlet fake news before eventually hanging up. I guess he reacted to it well. Also from CNN, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark, tells CNN's Aaron Burnett about his brother's very close relationship with Donald Trump in the 1990s. Please.
You know, from what you know, from what you saw, how close was your brother to Donald Trump?
All of this is coming out now, even though all of this has been known about for years, decades, because of the pressure. It's like Me Too. In fact, it's a lot like the Me Too movement, right? It's not that there weren't lots of people who knew Bill Cosby was a racist. There were, at the very least, dozens of women who did. It's that once you start speaking up about it, everyone else sees. And man, especially with something like Jeffrey Epstein, right? Like going after a major celebrity like Bill Cosby is scary enough because he can ruin your life, and he's ruined many people's lives effectively, you know, directly and indirectly. But Jeffrey Epstein, anything involving that, I mean, this is like a mortal threat, you know, coming out with information. But the dam is beginning to break, you know?
They were very close. They were good friends. Jeffrey used to sometimes tell me things that Donald said that were funny. I know Donald was in Jeff's office a lot back in the 90s. It's documented that Donald flew on Jeff's plane a number of times. I don't know if they ever checked, but I know Jeff flew on Donald's plane also. I don't know if they've ever looked at his flight logs. And they were good friends. I mean, I flew on Jeff's plane. It's known I was on a plane in 1999 flying up from Florida, and Donald was with us. You know, and we were all joking around. They were good friends.
So, tell me about that. I know there was something on that flight that you remember about your brother and Trump. What is it?
Well, it was a funny thing when we were talking, and well, stick a pin in that. A couple weeks or a week before that flight, I was talking to Jeffrey, and he told me that he was talking to Donald, and he asked Donald, how come you sleep with so many married women? And Donald's answer was, because it's so wrong. Now, amongst guys, it was a funny line. And then when we were on the plane a week or two later, Jeffrey asked Donald the same question. I know he did that for my benefit so that I could hear Donald say it. And Jeffrey asked him, how come you sleep with so many married women? And Donald said, because it's so wrong. Now, it's a funny line, but the answer is not the poignant part of the story here. The question is the poignant part, because for Jeffrey to ask him that question, number one, he would have to know that Donald slept with a lot of married women, so and he probably got that information from Donald. And
it
also,
implies a confidence.
That's not the kind of question you ask a casual acquaintance.
No, it's not. It's the kind
of. How come you slept with so many?
Sorry, I thought I paused it. It's the kind of question you ask a friend, isn't it? If you just knew, if you had like a distanced business relationship with somebody, you probably wouldn't ask them a probing question multiple times to get a rise out of the next, like to the new audience, right? Of course they were friends.
That's a question you ask a good friend that you can get away with asking those kind of questions. So that gives you an idea of how friendly they were.
When did your brother first tell you that he was in legal trouble? When did you know anything about what he was doing?
It was about 2006 when he first.
This guy's going to end up like his brother, holy shit. Actually, I don't know about that. I feel like there's a very real possibility that there are people compromised by Epstein who are thinking that Trump might just have to be the sacrificial lamb. Basically, nobody's faced any real consequences for being an Epstein client, right? But Trump is now easily the most high profile of them. I wonder if people are quietly talking amidst themselves. I wonder if they're going like, listen, obviously we can't let all the information get out, but if Trump suffered for it, you know, he's old. Yeah, he's old and senile.
Got into trouble. You know, it's known prior to Jeffrey's death, you know, I hadn't seen him for 7 years, although we were always in touch, you know, communication with telephone or emails, but we just never got together. And for the 12 years prior to that period of time, from like 2004 until 2008, we only got together maybe a half a dozen times or so, but we were always in.
Do you think all the Epstein clients who have stayed underground have been quietly coming up with defenses or plans for if shit ever gets out of release? Of course, absolutely. Think about it from their perspectives. Isn't that like something that people like co-conspirators get implicated for? Isn't that like common behavior? Remember in Breaking Bad at the beginning of season 5 where they're like, hey, there's a bunch of henchmen in jail who are working with Gustavo who know our names, and like eventually the DEA is going to get one of them to crack. I mean, like that seems likely to me. 1,000 FBI agents article. Pam Bondi pressured about 1,000 FBI personnel to comb through tens of thousands of pages of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein and flag any mention of President Trump. I don't suppose like Control F works. They're physical documents, probably not.
Contact. And in 2006, Jeffrey asked me to come up to his place uptown. He wanted to talk to me. So I was uptown. I stopped by. I'm not uptown all that much back then. I live downtown, and I sort of joke. I say to go above 14th Street, I need a visa. But so I went to talk to him, and that's when he told me that he was getting in trouble for being with girls that were too young. He said he was stupid, but he wanted me to hear it from him.
That's such a wild fucking conversation. Imagine being Jeffrey Epstein's brother, and that's how you find out. I don't know anything about Jeffrey Epstein's brother. I have no idea if he was implicated or not. It's very possible that to his brother, like Epstein was literally just a wealthy, like schmoozy financier guy, you know? Insane.
As opposed to hearing it on the news or something. And that's when I first found out, in 2006.
That's crazy. All right, man. So we're adding Epstein was at Trump's wedding, and Epstein's brother went on CNN to say, dude, my brother and Trump were great friends. They can scan the physical copies in. Nope. There is no fucking way the FBI would physically scan anything related to the Epstein files. You're going to digitize that and leave it on a computer? No, no, no. For top secret stuff like that, it's kept physical, archived, sealed, and they probably keep it in a mountain bunker somewhere. That's just a security issue. It is cool that Pam Bondi made like 1,000 FBI agents like speed read how much of a pedophile Trump is, though. You know, I'm sure that's a good way to ingratiate the department. Hey, everyone, you're all working like overtime to protect your pedophile boss. Let's go. Hey, chop chop. Gotta literally drill it out of cement. I mean, you're not even necessarily wrong. They're depending on what the security practices are. They like the physical files are often kept in bunkers, and they might be physically sealed. It does happen, you know. The unearthed the ancient texts, the Petonomicon, doing Da Vinci Code shit. All right. You're having too much fun with this. You're having too much fun with the fact that the world is finally waking up to the fact that our president is a arch pedophile. Okay.